we're going to go to the DC Masonic Lodge, and we're going to set up a claims clinic. And we're going to educate all of those veterans who are part of that organization and be able to leverage them and get them the benefits they need. That's bringing the message to our veterans, and that's what the Secretary has demanded of me. That's what the President has demanded of me. That's what the Vice President has demanded of me, and that's what we're doing.
Well, I thank you for that leadership. You know, we heard from the Deputy Secretary that we have a few more veterans to reach to make sure they know about these new benefits, and I'm encouraged to hear that you have a plan for continued proactive outreach and leveraging our trusted community organizations. That's going to be critical if we're going to continue to offer this life-saving care to our nation's heroes. Now, Director Allier, with your experience in both the Michigan State Senate and the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency, how have you seen the Biden-Harris administration's veteran-focused policies influence your state legislative efforts, and are there particular policies that have been especially beneficial?
Thank you, Congresswoman. The biggest thing that we've seen in Michigan is the Biden-Harris administration actually cares about veterans. And that is a big difference than what we saw before, because taking care of veterans means taking care of their families. Yes. And so when we start talking about that, it means ensuring that we have our service members. What we don't talk about enough when we talk about suicide prevention is the number one thing that we can do is get folks connected to their benefits, right? In any way, shape, or form. So being connected to a VSO, being connected in any way, makes you 7 times less likely to take your own life. And so we were able to spend a lot of money on outreach and engage. We launched a campaign in the state to make sure that we got women veterans, Native veterans, Black veterans, because when most people think about a veteran, they think about a white guy who served in Vietnam wearing his VFW hat. And we had to rebrand folks because we have a significant number of women who don't consider themselves veterans because they weren't in combat. We have a significant number of folks who don't associate with their benefits for a variety of reasons. My first day in the job, I met a 101-year-old World War II veteran who applied for benefits when he was 96 years old. Wow. And that was not the first time we had services like that, because his daughter was like, "Hey, Dad, you served in the war, right?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he started talking about how he was received when he came home. And they told him to take his uniform off. And they told him things like that. I met a guy from West Virginia who said he had never felt racism like he did in the U.S. Army. And those are the kind of stories that we had to start to share and make people understand so that we could get them to take advantage of their benefits. And we're talking about thousands and thousands of people in Michigan who took advantage of their benefits because it was available. When 1.2 million people now sign up for benefits, that is millions of lives saved, but it's also thousands and thousands of dollars that come back in our community and allow people to take care of their family. My uncle's a Korean War vet, and he just passed in a VA home. But it was because he had care that he was able to live as long as he was, and that my aunt was able to manage that experience. Those are the kind of things that this administration understands because they've had to deal with it.
You know, you bring up such a good point. When we hear rhetoric, even recently, using hateful, disgusting words like suckers and losers, right? That really prevents a lot of people from getting the care that they need. And I thank you all for your leadership in connecting people, welcoming, creating a safe space, and validating and celebrating the service and sacrifice of our nation's heroes to make sure that they can get this care. Thank you, Adam. Hi, Karen. So, given your role with the American Legion and the past service, how do you see the Biden-Harris administration's effort to improve disability benefits and support for veterans living with a disability? And can you talk about any changes that you've seen to those benefits and how they're administered and communicated?
Yes, I have seen several changes during the Biden-Harris administration, and a lot of them have already been touched on through the PACT Act, but I would like to also speak on another one, and that was included with the PACT Act, and it's removing the barriers to mental health care. And this is very important for a lot of veterans, because a lot of veterans, when they first get out of the military, because I can speak for this as for myself, you don't really know when you're suffering from mental health. And if you're not, if you hadn't been diagnosed with it, then you really don't know the symptoms or anything unless you have someone to talk to. And I had to go down that road myself, and it took a while for me to even realize that I did have some issues that needed to be addressed. And thanks to the VA, they were addressed. And the VA has taken action through the Biden administration to remove all cost sharing for the first 3 behavioral health visits for veterans enrolled in VA health care. And this has helped to ensure that all those in need can get the care that they need. And this action has built on the VA's new policy, which allowed eligible veterans and certain former service members in acute suicidal crisis to go to any VA or non-VA healthcare facility for no-cost emergency health care. And over 50,000 veterans and service members has used this benefit since it launched in 2023. And the VA is doing everything it can, including the expanding of mental health screenings, increasing access to legal and financial support, hiring more mental health professionals to get the veterans the help that they need.
Thank you so much. So we've had such a robust conversation today. Our panel discussion is going to have to be cut a little short. So as we close out our session this afternoon, I want to ask you for an action item each. A little off script. If you wanted to leave the people here with an action that we can take in the next days, weeks, month, until we gather back here for AOC next year, what can we do to connect people with care, to reach out to those veterans who need to hear from us, and to make sure that no one gets left behind towards Governor Moore's point?
Yeah, I'll just say this. This is what I tell every veteran. Hey, I know that you may have had a bad experience at VA in the past before. Maybe once, maybe twice, maybe 3 or 4 times. The only thing I'm asking you is to give us another shot. Give us another shot to get the yes. Trust me, we are doing that. We just had a veteran who, for 50 years, was denied his benefits. And because of the fact that, because of the leadership of the Congresswoman and the Congressman, we were able to finally deliver on that promise to that veteran. And now he's a receipt of his benefits for his family. So again, please, give us another shot.
Thank you.
And I would just like to leave with you, please use your resources. Resources are available at all these service organizations, such as the American Legion Post, the Disabled American Veterans Post. Go to your community supports, and you will find a service officer there that will help guide you through getting your benefits as well.
Everybody that you know has served, and that means raise your right hand and say, hey, this was me for country. Make sure they have some relationship with their veterans benefits. We have too many, especially Black people, especially Black women, who are in no way connected, and the government owes you something because we said we were going to take care of you and we aren't doing a good job. So make sure that every person, you say, Congressman, are you getting your benefits? Did your dad serve? Did your dad get his benefits? Did your mom? Because we are missing out on something that's really impactful.
Yeah, take that extra beat and have the full conversation. It's worthwhile. And as Deputy Secretary Bradshaw pointed out to us, head next door, check in with the folks to see if there's any benefits that you may benefit from. Thank you, panelists, for your expertise, for your service to our country, for being here with us. Thank you.